So, what is up peeps? Welcome to the channel. In this video we are going to talk about the first breath user and the strongest demon slayer to have ever lived. Eren Yeager. Haha, I meant Yorichi Tsugikoni. Yorichi's the first breath user and the person who passed the sun breath to the KAMADO household, so the story of the two are somewhat linked. Well, if Yorichi wouldn't have existed, then the demon slayer would have been weak as ever. In other words, he is the foundation of the demon slayer. Yorichi was also the first person who almost killed Muzan within 5 minutes. Beginning with the story, Yorichi was born in the Sengoku period in Japan with a twin brother Michikatsu. Unfortunately, during that period, people considered twins to be extremely unlucky, and to make things still more worse, Yorichi was born with a mark on his forehead which was weird. These marks were later termed as the Demon Slayer marks, which stand Jiro on the other head during their fight with the upper ranks. His father came to a very extreme conclusion after seeing all these that Yorichi must die, as he thought Yorichi would bring bad luck to the family, but Yorichi's mother was angry with this decision, so much that no one could control her. So his father agreed with him staying alive. The way Yorichi lived was not at all similar to his brother. Yorichi received the worst of everything, like food, education, medical facilities, and he was also locked in a separate room by his father. Due to the behavior of Yorichi, people considered him to be deaf, as he did not speak to people or his family. But in spite of all these hard things, Yorichi was blessed by the god and was given tremendous power in order to defeat Muzan. Even though Yorichi considered him too inferior, he managed to pass his eternal wish and his true ambitions. Yorichi's birthmark gave him sharp physical abilities and the power to see through living beings, what he called as the transparency or the transparent world. As Yorichi grew, he learned to interact and smile. He also set a goal to be a samurai that surprised everyone. He decided this when he saw his brother training. On hearing this, the person who was training Michikatsu gave him a sword and told Yorichi to fight him. And guess what happened? Yorichi defeated the person in an instant by landing multiple hits. It was really shocking for Michikatsu, as he himself never had defeated his trainer. Yorichi gave up on being a samurai because he didn't like hurting people. Michikatsu later asked Yorichi how he managed to defeat the trainer, as he never managed to do it himself. For that, Yorichi answered with explaining him about the early forms of breathing styles and about the transparent world. But Yorichi said he wanted to play board games with his brother instead of all that. The same night, unfortunately, Yorichi and Michikatsu's mother passed away due to an illness, and Yorichi went to tell the news to Michikatsu. Later, when Michikatsu read Mother's diary, he learned that Yorichi knew about Mother's illness, since he had the power to see through humans, hence he kept clinging to Mother's left side. Yorichi then showed his gratitude towards his brother, as he was planning to leave the house and go to the temple. But the next morning they found out that he didn't move to the temple, instead he ran away. Yorichi showing gratitude towards Michikatsu when he had nothing made Michikatsu envious of the twins' genius. As Yorichi ran, he met Yuta, a girl of his age whose family died due to an illness. The two ended up living together and eventually fell in love, married after 10 years. And then Yuta became pregnant. For the preparation of the birth, Yorichi left the town to fetch a midwife, but ended up being late as he helped an old man. So he went back home, as he promised to be home before sunset, but it was already night, and when he returned home, he found Yuta slaughtered by a demon. It was 10 days later when a demon slayer found Yorichi, holding the body of Yuta for so long. After this incident, Yorichi started his training to be a demon slayer and became one. Coincidentally, Yorichi met his older brother when Michikatsu and the fellow samurai were attacked by a demon, only leaving Michikatsu alive. He then killed the demon and apologized for the death of his fellow swordsman. However, this very conversation helped Michikatsu to become a demon slayer as well. With the power Yorichi had, he created a sun-breathing technique for fighting against the demons, and he tried teaching these techniques to other demon slayers as well, but they could not learn it and ended up adjusting them to suitable strength level, which created the variations of the first breathing technique: water, wind, flame, stone, and thunder breathing. The demon slayers who mastered the respective breathing style became the Hashira. Even Michikatsu became a better swordsman due to Yorichi's teachings, but he couldn't use the sun breathing, thus he used a derivative, which he named as the breath of the moon. As the Demon Slayer Corps became stronger, they received the Demon Slayer mark, just like Yorichi's, but it slowly disappeared as the lifespan would decrease with the occurrence of the mark, and the swordsmen with the mark would die when they reached the age of 25. Michikatsu, with the fear of dying due to the mark, decided to become a demon. After a while, Yorichi encountered Muzan when he was with Tamayo, and as soon as he saw Muzan, he sensed immense violence and felt that he was born to defeat this man. Muzan underestimated the abilities of Yorichi and didn't take him seriously and attacked him to kill him instantly, but Yorichi dodged it. Yorichi opened his eyes in the transparent world and realized that Muzan has 7 hearts and 5 brains. Yorichi combined all his forms and made it one last attack, the 13th form, allowing Yorichi to cut through all Muzan's organs once and for all. This attack left Muzan without any regenerating powers. Remember, Yorichi can turn his blades red, which stops regenerating of demons to a greater extent. Yorichi asked Muzan some questions about the value of life that he still fears, and we have seen this in the season 2 of Demon Slayers.
何が楽しい? 何が面白い? 命を何だと思っているんだ?
After that, Muzan exploded his body into 1,800 pieces, but due to being surprised, Yorichi could only cut 1,500 of them and Muzan escaped. Since Yorichi was very close to defeating Muzan, Tamayo decided to tell everything about Muzan to Yorichi. Later, when a Hashira arrived for the rescue, he told Yorichi that his brother Michikatsu was turned into a demon. After that, Yorichi was blamed for not killing Muzan, letting Tamayo escape, and for Michikatsu becoming a demon and betraying the Demon Slayer. Thus they said Yorichi has to be killed. But the young master prevented it. Yorichi, after being banished from the Demon Slayer, decided to tell the story of his life to Sumiyoshi and Suayako, who are the direct ancestors of Tanjiro. So when he visited them, he told everything about him from his birth to his fight with Muzan. Meanwhile, Sumiyoshi's child, asked Yorichi for a hug. And that is when Yorichi established a close relationship with the Kamado family. And then Yorichi performed all the forms of the breath of the sun, and it looked like a spirit performing it rather than a human, hence it was passed down in form of Hinakami Kagura. When Yorichi showed Suayako all the forms, Sumiyoshi looked all forms carefully and memorized them. Since it was Yorichi's final visit to the Kamado household, he gave Sumiyoshi the Hanafuda earrings, and to show his gratitude towards Yorichi, he promised him that he would preserve it through his descendants. Yorichi was unable to overcome the rumor that Demon Slayer with marks lived only till 25, since he slayed demons until he was an 85, but he went bling in that age. This is when he finally encountered Michikatsu, his elder brother, who turned into a demon with the fear of dying due to the mark. Michikatsu at that time was the strongest demon, and the upper rank one, who was named as Kakushibu. Seeing his brother as a demon caused Yorichi to cry, causing disgust within Kakushibu. But Yorichi decided to kill him since he was a demon despite of all the love he had for him. When Yorichi prepared for the strike, he let Kakushibu know, as he knew Kakushibu would not react in time, which showed that Yorichi never got weaker despite his age. This made Kakushibu fear Yorichi, as he thought he would be having an upper hand in the fight due to his power and superiority. But he never was able to defeat him or land a single hit, as Yorichi died on the spot while standing due to old age, just after landing the first strike. Kakushibu, out of anger that Yorichi died undefeated, he attacked Yorichi's lifeless body and realized that Yorichi was still carrying the flute Kakushibu gave him in his childhood. The story made it obvious that Yorichi was the strongest demon to have ever lived, as it took efforts of 3 Hashira to defeat Kakushibu. And about Muzan, it took the efforts of 9 Hashira and Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke to defeat Muzan, where Yorichi almost killed him with a single strike. Muzan, until his death, was terrified of Yorichi and his existence, as he knew he was nothing when he fought against Yorichi. Yorichi believed that he never fulfilled his goal of killing Muzan, but he was wrong. He managed to pass a variety of breathing styles and pass down the breath of the sun. This makes Yorichi's existence the most important one in the whole history of the Demon Slayer. That was it for today's video, guys. I'll catch up onto the next video. Until then, stay tuned.
あらあら、さようなら。